First
Yeah,
with the
it's not
whole
too bad.
Zoom thing.
Yeah, it's not too bad though.
Okay. Yo, this your boy, the Katana here. This is I'm with my boy Makenshi Critiques here.
Yeah, Mackenzie critiques. Yeah, I hope for a good discussion. Good
Yeah,
discussion with my boy.
yeah, exactly. And one thing says I don't want to curse here because I got my siblings and family around. He d- doesn't doesn't ride on your favorite anime at all, let
Yeah,
alone
I
your
don't.
movies.
I only curse when I'm heated or about something, but because this
Yeah,
is like a friendly discussion, there
yeah,
won't be no cursing. So
oh yeah. But let me just say what got me the idea is like the writing, how writing in media in general is, and how mediocre. But don't get me
yeah,
wrong, there's some good TV out there. Just listen to your friends or your family and just check out some episodes. Because I learned that the hard way with Mackenzie Critiques with Gangs of London. And yes, I should get back to episode 5 now.
oh yeah.
Because,
So are you on episode 5 or?
yeah, I'm on
Yeah,
episode 5, which is rumored to
nice.
be the good episodes when it picks up. With the whole, yeah, I don't want to spoil it for our viewers, but I'm really digging that show, the best TV show in like 5 years. And each episode is like a miniature movie. It's like 45 minutes to an hour. And we were about to have this a bit earlier, but we had problems with using Zoom, and also originally wanted to plan this to record with videos, so there was not supposed to be on live stream at all.
Yeah,
But due to StreamYard's like having like only streaming right now, so sorry about that. Sorry about the plans, but no, one monkey does not stop no show here. And yeah, it's a really good saying. You'll always find like workarounds and whatnot. We don't know one monkey does not stop no show. Yeah. So for starters, I just want to get into like the whole writing aspect from like comics, movies, video games, anime, western cartoons, you name it. And while I'm not digging up the hype at all because I checked out some of the stuff and my god, it's overrated. They forgot how to write a story, a likable character you can root for. For example, in Gangs of London, all the characters are basically villains. They're basically an organized crime. So there's no like nice people, yeah, nice people at all basically. There's some likable people, but they're not actually good people if you piss them off.
exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's one thing anime's forgotten how to do, gray and questionable areas. Because when people think shonen, they assume that shonen means, little teenagers, powers, and all that stuff. But shonen is really just like a demographic, right? They don't want to present questionable, morally gray characters because that's not the
Demographic.
yeah, they don't want to push that on kids, right? It's teens. It's like friendship. It's always a power friendship narrative, or it's always like a redemption narrative, right?
Yeah.
Obviously Gangs of London is more like an adult show, silent thing, so you can present morally grey, questionable characters, which is what it's more real to human experience, right? We're not all
Yeah.
perfect, we all have our flaws, and maybe there can be something good and bad in people, but I think that the problem is that people have forgotten, right, what good writing
Yep.
is, because they're so stuck in their little ecosystems of, okay, I'm
Yeah.
only gonna watch isekai, or I'm only gonna watch shonen, and I don't believe
MCU.
that you need to watch. I don't believe that your taste is good just because you watched lots of things. I think if you're critical about what you watch, that's enough for me. But I think some people just aren't critical of what they watch, and then their viewing habits are already so narrow as it is that they're unwilling to go outside their comfort zones. Like for you, Gangs in London is going outside of your usual comfort
Yep.
zone, and then you discovered, holy shit, like there's great stories out there.
Yeah. And some of those characters are really likable for various reasons. I don't want to get into spoilers, but I like the concept of like a multicultural modern London. It's like, yes, it's a crime drama, but I like how it was written. Like it's a really serious action movie as well, so really drama.
You were
But
saying
what
it didn't feel forced, right? I remember you tweeting
doesn't
that
feel
it
forced.
doesn't feel forced. It's not like America, which tries to make a big song and dance like, look, this is our Egyptian superhero. This is
Yeah,
our first black. Nah, because London's so multicultural, naturally, it just feels normal to see all these Pakistani, Iranian, white, Irish, Scottish people just intermingling, right, as gangs.
yeah,
It doesn't look hyper realized or anything. So
yeah, yeah. Exactly, man. It's like how these characters interact with one another, how they respond, how this one dude kept them together barely, but managed to make it work. Their differences and whatnot, and how it. Let me go into spoiler territory. How it begins the series. It all started with a hit between like two like pikeys or what or rednecks, whatever you call them in England.
yeah, pikeys.
Yeah,
It
and
whacked the dad of a gang.
yeah, yeah. People call them gypsies or what I call them the British rednecks. Which
Yeah,
they
British
thought they're going to
rednecks.
get like money, but they all butchered the hit and whatnot. They did the hit, but they actually didn't realize the domino effect it had.
Yeah,
There's this one. The sons love their father dearly, despite being evil. The son's like breaking down. He can't actually handle the whole power structure because people think, especially in criminal organizations, if you seem weak, they're going to try you,
yeah,
and and people don't trust you. Alliances will break. It's like a Yakuza film from like the 70s and 60s or so,
exactly.
which I kind of miss in modern TV. It's not like Game of Thrones. It's like, oh, death here, or this cartoony, evil, shady dude. No, these guys actually have personality. Even the evil people that only last an episode actually have like some sort of like personality in them.
Yeah,
So, besides that, with the MCU, I heard from rumors from people about this one show with a female Green Hulk, which is like Bruce's Banner's sister or something like that, or aunt, or whatever, and they discovered in the show about the what's that one's race in the Fantastic Four and Captain Marvel.
the Kree. Yeah,
The Kree, which is supposed to be this big event, which leads to a huge reveal, which is viewed as a joke or like a passing by moment. And one thing that bothered me is remember Infinity War and also Endgame, which they made
yeah,
this whole deal with Thanos like wiped half the planet, disappeared half the planet with a finger snap. That's now considered a joke.
yeah,
Which is like I have a problem with Marvel comics, and not just with the MCU. It's also with Marvel and DC comics as a
yeah,
whole, because editorial or the writers want to put their own footprint, so they will sacrifice canon and convolute stuff
yeah.
in order to like make their own version stand out.
No, I
Which
agree. Sorry, I just sorry to like interrupt, but yeah, like I finished She-Hulk yesterday. I saw it was I hate watch that show. I hate watch that show just so I could speak about it, so people can't say I didn't watch it. It went over my
yeah,
head, right? And I watched it. And I go, that show wouldn't be so bad if the writers weren't trying to use this character for their own agendas. They
yep,
could just let the character be, but now the writers had to put their little jab at the audience. Oh, obviously feminist kind of slant to it, right?
yeah,
Where you know you had She-Hulk fourth wall breaking before Deadpool in the comics. That's fine. I don't got no
yeah,
problem with that. The corniness, I got no problem with that. It's kind of tongue in cheek. But then when the writers start putting their little jabs at the audience, then you know that you're just using this character, sacrificing everything about the character, the canon, just to use them as a mouthpiece to speak to the politics and society. Not everything needs to be politics. You can just enjoy a
exactly.
character as they are. But there's such an antagonistic relationship between the people who made
Audience.
She-Hulk and the audience. It's like they hate the people that are watching it.
Yep.
Every week they're talking about, yeah, you're probably only watching for this guy. You're probably only watching for the male cameos, right? I'm like,
Yeah.
then why did you write them in? If you really hate the fact that people are only watching for Daredevil or Wong or male characters, right? Then why are you writing them in and then blaming the audience for tuning in to watch them? So
Beats me because basically that's with Marvel and DC at the moment. DC Comics, Marvel. But one thing why I said comics because I was trying want to get into like the Bat Who Laughs, which is basically one of the evil Batmen in the dark universe of Batman, where
Yeah.
the Joker toxin like warped Bruce Wayne to the point of being a Bat Joker. Love the design though. I always want to get into this book, but it makes it so convoluted. But what the problem with with comics is basically how it is structured. Like basically how nowadays, like for like preaching about like their own personal beliefs, which it's like a Twitter post or something like that. And when they don't like something, they complain about it. They say, "Oh, you're watching this for the male view," or "I must deconstruct this character because I don't like writing them at all." I just want to take this job so I can like climb up the ladder so I can get clout so I can like write my own stuff, which is
Yeah.
shameful because you're using Lexi IP for a Twitter post or a thread. Come on, man,
Yeah.
that's disrespectful.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't mind, like in the comic book world there are several hundred authors who have their different interpretation of a character, but they do them in runs. They have one run, then they end it, and then they reboot it, and they have another run. In the MCU you have one unified timeline. So when you change that one character to be reflective of several different authors' views or political views, then you undermine that character. It's bipolar almost. It's like
yeah,
one minute you have like a Greek tragedy, sort of like Shakespearean Thor, and now he's some goofy dumb oaf who has to look stupid in front of all the female characters.
yeah,
There's no consistency or integrity. You can do that in the comic book world, but
yeah,
they're sacrificing their their integrity and consistency just to, okay, we want to be a mouthpiece for Me Too, because right now Me Too is the hip thing. So it was Ragnarok, Thor has to be about talking about Me Too and how stupid men are, and how fucking pervy they are. And then 2 years from now, the next Thor, oh shit, like Russia's about to invade, yeah, let's have Thor fucking beat down some Russian fucking villain or some shit. So it's like you lose integrity, consistency, all of that shit. So it's
yep,
like what you're saying. It's like not everything has to speak to the times. Just
yeah.
maintain integrity in the characters.
Yeah, exactly what you said. Like, well, let me get back to Gangs of London. Yes, I'm riding on Gangs of London's hot dog here, but it deserves it.
It does, yeah. It's great, sir.
But look, it's like each episode's like a movie, and it has a timeline of events, and there's stakes in every episode, and even to the last episode, there's a consequence to that one. It's like domino effects the TV show. But unlike Game of Thrones, yes, Game of Thrones has that, but this does it way better. That each major character relates to one another. With each character has their side characters that relate to their own characters, like the Kashmirians or the Iranians
Yeah.
that are against the Pakistanis. Even the one Pakistani, the one main guy, which is above his son, which is
Asif, yeah.
one of my favorite characters because basically how like light he makes scenes feel lighthearted a bit,
He
despite
does,
being
yeah.
really a cruel man, which
Yeah.
has tons of enemies, and he really means it. But
Yeah.
but each character has integrity to him, and they don't change like every season or so unless a critical event happens. Unlike the MCU, which is like you got billions of writers and you're putting them into one thing, and then you got some writers that want to like put their own interpretations into that one film. So as a result, it becomes a jumbled mess. But unlike that MCU, Gangs of London, I love that show because basically I'm repeating myself like a parrot because it has integrity. It has it has like style and substance to it.
Yeah.
The choreography is great. You're talking to a guy who prefers like Japanese media for the longest time, and I'm really digging this.
Yeah.
Don't know about Doctor Who though, but Gangs of London, you should check that out as a whole. I want to make this into like a separate video at first, but the whole Zoom thing, really sorry about that, Makenshi,
Yeah, no
because
worries, no worries.
basically like unlike shown in manga, which the side characters get forgotten unless they're super popular or powerful, and and every time the series goes on, they introduce new characters. Yes, you want to keep the stakes high and make it exciting for the readers and whatnot, but it will backfire. Remember the whole Bleach thing back in the mid 2010s?
Yeah.
Which one of its problems that they added new characters every arc? It was
Yeah.
great. It was great at the Soul Society arc, which is the best arcs in shonen history.
Yeah.
At least it has stakes. It had build up in the last one. It felt urgent. Each character seems powerful because they're the Soul Society, and Ichigo's just like borrowing someone's powers.
Yeah.
This was the whole before his dad was a Soul Reaper and his mother was a Quincy.
Yeah.
But how it was written, like, it was amazing. I mean, yes, I'm following Bleach now, but with One Piece, like, it drags on, it slows down. Yes, that's the power of friendship too, but the dynamics of the characters and the crew stands out because each crew member actually has a personality. They sometimes don't agree with one another. Their personalities sometimes clash, but Luffy brings them together because of their skills and Luffy's personality as a unique shonen lead. Yes,
Yeah.
there's Fairy Tail too, but that sucks. One Piece gone wrong. Prefers Soul. No, Rave Master, anyways. But I prefer signing these days because basically it's more morally gray characters. There's more stakes. There's variety of stuff. It's
People
not
say,
all.
yeah, people often criticize. They're like, "Oh man, you can't compare Shonen to Seinen." I go, look, you can compare Shonen to Seinen because I feel like beyond gore and violence and adult
That's okay. Adult
characters,
themes.
it's more stimulating. It's more challenging and stimulating. Wouldn't you want to watch a show that you're kind of like at odds with, but you're constantly watching it because it's hooked you? It's
Yeah,
presenting you with something that you don't normally watch, but somehow you're really hooked into it.
yeah.
Shonen's the dialogue is all surface level, expository,
Tropey.
tropey. Yeah, sometimes it's about the fights, it's about the crying. You got the nakama bullshit stuff, and like that's great moderation. But dude, when every show starts doing that, you're like, fuck, this is not stimulating for
The
me.
same
Like
thing. Like, can I
same
sorry
thing.
to cut you up? Like, this is like the same thing. I like Chainsaw Man at first, but it's like Devilman in modern times. I said that many times on Twitter that it's like follows the same beats, except for like instead of the yokai or the demons like taking over the planet and making humanity kill itself. And Chainsaw Man's a bit more lighthearted because it's protagonist and whatnot. But
Yeah,
it follows the same story structure a bit from Devilman. You feel me there?
yeah,
And also with Jujutsu Kaisen or something like that, it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous and whatnot. And Demon Slayer too, but it follows the same old story structure regarding characters. With Demon Slayer, it's a bit different. It doesn't follow the tournament power BS I don't like anymore. But it felt each character's written the same thing. It follows a
yeah.
trope, and they can't go out of that trope and personality. When something
Exactly.
bad happens, they don't change. Look look up a manga called Holy Land, Makenshi. It's
Yeah,
one of the best martial arts mangas I ever read. It starts out with a kid who was like bullied throughout his school years, drops out of school because of the bullying. He got into the point he wanted to commit suicide, but apparently he cannot do it. So, anyways, he was walking one day and he found a boxing book, a boxing magazine or book, and he began practicing a simple jab many times. And yes, it sounds really cheesy and unrealistic, but read the manga
yeah,
because basically I'm not doing it proper service, but
yeah.
over time he develops like a passion for the streets because it's regarding with the themes of Holy Land is a place to belong in because
Yeah.
he's like a social outcast, and over time he found some friends and whatnot, and it doesn't feel like Nakama shonen BS crap or tournament power. No, it has realism and it has stakes and likable characters and
Yeah.
consequences, and the characters develop over time.
Yeah.
Not everyone's a perfect saint either or a cool badass. Like the main character's mentor was this cool, handsome badass, but if you read his backstory, was like he got his own arc, which is like 3 volumes or 2 volumes long, which he's basically he's like a troubled teen after he was like in the boxing club to the point he was like he attempted suicide. Oh, sorry about the spoilers there, but I really enjoyed this series. So it's by the guy who actually is currently running Berserk, helping like supervise Berserk because of Kentaro Mura's passing. Is basically his closest friend. And speaking of Berserk, remember the Golden Age arc? How it had stakes and how it had like consequences and how the characters change and whatnot, and how it has morally characters. It had integrity to it. One of the few mangas that does and doesn't sugarcoat crap at all.
Yeah.
It's like well written. It's like Game of Thrones, but written right. It's not all grim, dark, and want to be like dark and edgy for the sake of edge. The dark and edge actually had a purpose. For the setting of Midland, it's a crappy setting full of war and strife and dysfunction. And then add the supernatural elements, it becomes worse.
Yeah.
But at least with Berserk, it had some light-hearted moments, like for like the character, for like the audience to breathe and to like invest in the characters. Like they have a family, a part, like each Guts trusting people again after seeing his whole group of friends he considered family get brutally killed. Remember the eclipse? Like it was one of the most saddest moments in anime ever. When I first saw the eclipse, I was like I can't believe this is happening. All these seemingly awesome characters I know and love are getting brutally slaughtered just for this guy's ego trip of power.
Yeah.
Which he became. He became a force of hope to becoming the greatest enemy that Guts ever faced.
Yeah.
But unlike Griffith, hold on. Excuse me there. Yeah, it's like my dawn clock right there. Sorry about that. But what I'm saying here is like basically between Griffith and a guy named Anakin Skywalker, both started off as wonderful heroes with hearts of gold and whatnot.
Yeah.
Griffith wants to find a kingdom so he can he has his power, but at least he wants to become a leader, but he will sacrifice whatever it takes to reach that goal, including his own army he raised. While Anakin Skywalker was corrupted by evil with the help of Palpatine, and how the Jedi Council treated him over time, which built up to becoming Darth Vader after being portrayed by his own mentor and teacher Obi-Wan Kenobi. Which you think about it, it's not, the prequels are actually not that bad. It's actually a tragic story from a hero to a villain.
Yeah.
And over time, Darth Vader was like a really brutal, vicious person because he lost everything dear to him. He was like a fallen hero, manipulated and used. Anything you want to add here?
Yeah, I think that comparison's dope because you don't see the fallen hero thing that much. They don't want to portray, they don't want to glamorize that sort of fallen man, fallen hero thing lately because it's politically doesn't align with what they want to present nowadays. You know, it's really questionable now to present males as anything more than kind of like dumb or selfish or or like stupid oafs and that kind of sort of thing. You know, I think that archetype and that story of the Greek tragedies, almost you could say, or like Caesar, right?
Yeah.
Live long enough to become the villain. You don't see that much nowadays. So it's always going to be a strong storytelling archetype, trope, whatever you want to call it, just like the Squire to Knight story is so universal, right? But they don't want to show you universal stuff like that anymore because it's all about politicization and that kind of thing. That, like, if you look at like think pieces about Anakin now, right? The anime community is not as critical. Like they're not as pumped full of politicization, so they're not going to be like, oh, Griffith was a rapist, Griffith was this, Griffith was that, even though you do see it on Twitter. But But when you look at Anakin and the Western audience, they're like, oh, Anakin was a toxically masculine dude. You know, he was this, he was
He
that.
was that.
You know,
In fact, yeah. Sorry about cutting
he
you off. Yeah, but it's really sorry about that, dude. But I want to add to your statement there because basically, Anakin is a tragic person. He was an innocent kid that Qui Gon Jinn, his first mentor, saw potential in him. He trusted him. He thought he was the whole like chosen one and everything. But the events during the prequels corrupted him. The Jedi Council didn't like him. The General Palpatine corrupted him because he exploited him, and how he fell from like a hero of the Clone Wars to like one of the most evil Sith Lords to ever exist throughout the galaxy. And what Anime Night says, what's good, my man? Sorry about not making up to your streams. I'm really sorry about that. I was kind of busy at the moment, so I'll read this here. Is it simple to overwrite the IP character for new characters with a backstory and how they got to where they are currently? Unfortunately, these so-called writers just focus on politics exactly, which kills all interest in the story, and the fans reject it because you want to entertain the audience, not insult them, not bore them, not preach them. They spend their hard-earned money, some of them like working like McDonald's or Taco Bell, to like the guys who work in IT, which time means everything to them, and they get treated by being insulted, laughed at, belittled. It's like going to like a restaurant and the waiters and the staff are rude as hell to you for no reason, despite being a high star restaurant, and they treating you like that because how you look, what your political alignment is, so on and so forth. No, the story writer's job is to entertain the reader, not to preach them.
it's hard to like there used to be we used to watch stuff for escapism, fantasy. I can't
Yeah.
say I could ever relate to 80s action heroes. I just enjoyed it passively, right? I enjoyed it, right? I didn't think that, yeah, this is pandering to me. I'm relatable to this white 80s action hero, but I love those films. But now they're thinking, shit, the kind of relatable characters they're creating nowadays, they're just not relatable. They relate to such like minorities in society. Oh, let's relate to the autistic kid. Let's relate to the person who's discriminated against because they're one specific, sexual orientation or this, that, the other. Like, if it's about relatability, then it should be relatability for everyone or something with broad appeal, right?
Yeah.
Not like freaking just you're narrowing your audience so much that you're putting everyone else off. You want the people who ordinarily wouldn't watch those characters. You should want them to watch those characters and understand that point of view. But nowadays they're not doing that no more. So
Yeah.
that's why these, like you say, these archetypes are so beloved because they're universal. It's not just the fallen man. It could be the fallen woman, someone who's
The
for the
fallen villain.
side of light. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's what, look at
Side of
Final
dark.
Fantasy
Yeah.
4, for example. Final Fantasy
Yeah.
4, it does the opposite. It goes from a dark knight character to a paladin character, which
Yeah.
is, you rarely ever see that.
Yeah. Exactly. In modern days, the one thing I like about, yes, it's tropey now and whatnot, but back in the day, it was considered complex and unique. It was written like a drama. It was about a story about a dark knight who served a corrupt king, corrupted for power, which is actually, spoiler alert, one of a monster in disguise. So, anyways, the point of Cecil, he became like, he was regretful for his actions for what he's done, but he was so loyal to his kingdom he couldn't rebel till like Destiny told him so. His journey became, he had to like trust a lot of people, which is the Mycenians, which at the beginning of the game took their crystal by force and probably killed a bunch of people. If you actually played the game, if you talk to the civilians there, they give you like status elements and whatnot because they're still very angry at you for what you did to them. You don't see
Yeah.
that in any JRPG at all.
Yeah.
Remember in like a Tales game, did any of the civilians or NPCs actually attack you or give you status elements
Nah,
due to what
never.
you did to them? Nope. which is I kind of think that's really unique right there because it shows
It
the
is.
the development of the world and your actions did to it. And when you give them their forgiveness by becoming the paladin, which is basically only by a person with a light heart, and you're basically fighting your own self as your test.
Oh
Which
yeah,
the key
yeah,
thing is not to like attack at all. And so and when you reach the paladin, you start anew again. You lost all your weapons and your experience, and you start from level 1 again, which is kind of neat for like character development because you're throwing away your old self and you're restarting anew.
yeah.
You don't see that in any JRPG or any Japanese game, let alone a Final Fantasy game or any Western game. Like, who in the hell you build up your strength, fight a boss, fight like your own self, and then your reward is you reach a new class, you start all over from like level 1 again. And your weapons are worthless besides iron sword again and basic equipment. That is called character development.
Yeah.
And another good one for Final Fantasy is Zack Fair. I'm not talking about Cloud Stripe. He's there for cool points, but with Zack Fair, he wanted to become a hero. Yes, and it's becoming really basic shonen. But how his actions affected Cloud Strife because he was like a soldier that wanted to be first class. But over
Yeah.
time, he was cocky, arrogant,
He
makes
was,
mistakes,
yeah, he was enamored like by the heroism of the first class soldiers, like Sephiroth and
and
Genesis and
Geo.
Geo. Like he was like starstruck, and he was
Yeah,
innocent, right? He just looked, I want to be a hero. Then
yeah,
slowly he discovers, holy shit, Shinra is fucked. Experiments are
yeah.
fucked. Maybe this isn't the organization that I thought it was.
That used to
And
be.
he
That's
became
all it was.
a different sort of, yeah, different sort of hero, not a hero for fame and glory and soldier, but just by simply sacrificing himself for one innocent guy that might have become him,
Looked
like
up to him.
might have gone up to the same. Yeah, exactly. So
Looked up to him. Don't know how they're going to do that in the remake because they undid his death. But how it impacted Cloud because actually Cloud thought because due to like the experimentations, Cloud's past as a soldier was basically his mentor and older brother figure Zack.
exactly,
People
he
don't focus
models
on the
himself off Zack. Yeah,
yes because of his own shortcomings and whatnot. He's not the whole badass you think everyone is. He was actually a broken man. He had a rough life. He couldn't make it to soldier. He struggled throughout his whole life to fit in. Basically, he was basically like the loner.
yeah,
And with Sephiroth, he was born as a weapon. Basically, he was. People looked him up as a soldier, but over time he began to discover his past and discover the experiments, which made him go insane as a result.
yeah,
Which, to the point he wanted to serve his mother, aka Genova, which the Genova cells came from, which got him like into to serving her because of how a mother and a child relationship,
yeah.
which people don't get in Final Fantasy VII. They mostly care about Cloud and Tifa shipping wars and all that weeb stuff. But if you look past that stuff, it's actually a pretty decent story.
Yeah, people don't realize even that archetype is fucking great. Like the Apocalypse Now general, a celebrated general goes off the reservation when he goes mad, right?
Yeah,
That thing, that was exactly what Sephiroth is. Sephiroth was a celebrated, you could say, colonel, general, and he goes off the reservation, and then it's down to like a lowly soldier to go into the heart of darkness and figure
yeah.
out what the fuck is going on. That story trope, it's not even a trope, they don't even use it that much. That whole story structure, that's also hardly ever seen now lately. Like movies like Ad Astra are trying to do those things, like trying to make it where you're trying to chase this celebrated guy down into places that you don't know, and you find out he's gone mad and he's like fucked, and he used to be on the light side, and he's just become like fucked up. So
He's not the same anymore because of the story. The events during the story made his heart change, like people do in real life. In Islam, people can switch polarities all the time from like dark to light to dark to dark to light. But people tend to focus on the light to dark because it's more engaging and more. People prefer like evil these days. I don't know why because I'm kind of getting tired of that part
Edgy,
of the trope because Edge,
edgy,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. What is done right is basically from Griffith from Berserk and Anakin Skywalker and Sephiroth. How they
Mm.
were great heroes, looked up, had morals and values, had like a great purpose, but became corrupted over time as a result of their actions. Fisting. Omega, do you like fistings? Sorry about that. Yeah, I'm not going into that right now, but oh, that game by what's his name again? Influenced by H.J. Geiger, the alien dude.
HR
Not my
Geiger.
type of
Yeah,
game.
HR
Yes,
Geiger. Yeah.
his works is surreal, creeps me out, but I have a fascinating with it for some reason. How it looks. It's kind of creepy though, but it's kind of like that creepy cool, but ugh. That's just one of the reasons why I don't like watching Alien.
The game's not good. I saw Baker just before I jumped on here. He was playing it. It's just a puzzle game. It's
Yeah.
pretty much a puzzle game. It's got nothing going for it.
And you die by gory deaths and messed up if you fail the puzzles. But yeah, let me. What I was saying is like basically how the fallen hero becomes like the villain because of his actions over time. But don't know about you, Mackenzie, but with other character tropes and genres, they have their own story structures, and people are not technically appreciative of them anymore because how it's just my own personal opinion here that the MCU ruined media literacy in the Western world.
Yeah,
Don't
it
know
did. It did. It's like like you know,
Shonen.
it's true. The shonen fans are exactly the same as MCU fans. They will accept anything, and as the standards keep dipping, they'll just accept it. Just with like, there is no good writing, man. It's like
Yeah.
here's something interesting. I heard someone say this once, that how we as Western fans find MCU dialogue corny, right?
Yeah.
But to some Russian or some chink out there, right, who
Yeah.
watches like MCU, they're like, oh, they'll love it, right? Do you
Yeah.
think, Omega, that Japanese people find anime dialogue corny? Like, where
Let
gaijin,
me
we
just
find it all.
cool and whatnot, how it's written and whatnot, and how that's prefer why we watch it subbed because it's more natural to them with subtitles in the bottom that makes you pay attention. But anyways, my opinion on that is for Japanese, I'm not Japanese at all. I'm not Nihonjin. I don't speak Japanese. I'm not from Japan. But let me just say this from an opinion standpoint here. My opinion is I have it. Let me just say if a Japanese adult was there or a Japanese teenager or a college kid was there, they'll probably think the same thing that my God, this dialogue is so freaking corny. Like, come on, it's so tropey how it's like written like Ksama or Nani or basically like this whole
Yeah,
generic sentences like you can't stop me, take this. But
because
I
it's a
will
culture
not.
clash. Sorry, Mad Matt says, I don't particularly find anime dialogue corny per se, but it does depend on the type of anime. It's culture clash. You're just not familiar with the way they
It is
deliver
written.
their shonen, shonen products and that sort of thing. So it's a culture clash. It's exotic and stuff. But when you think about it, you think to yourself, look how conservative the Japanese way of speaking is. Now compare that to the crazy over the
Anime.
top anime. You're like, a normal person in Japan, like average dude, will not find this normal, right? It's a
Nope.
cartoon. For them. It's a cartoon. For us, it's anime and the best thing ever made, right? Like sliced bread. But for them, it's just all cartoons, fam.
To be honest, Mad Matt here, I don't find it. I find that kind of cool. Oh, but it depends when it's done right. It's a culture clash, like my buddy says here. But with Western stuff with MCU, we're as Westerners, I don't like it. And after Endgame, it jumped the shark. The dialogue is terrible. Like the characters keep switching personalities and whatnot. It's like shonen manga, but more deranged and dysfunctional when it comes to like characters and writing and development. And their actions don't mean nothing. I'm seriously, by that one plot point with mentioning the Infinity War arc and its aftermath, it means nothing. At least in One Piece, the arcs meant something.
Yeah.
The Great Naruto Bridge arc, when that which brought wealth to the land of the waves. I haven't watched Naruto in a while. Sorry about that. At least
Yeah.
that brought like a bitch when Naruto was good and actually had stakes on the line instead of being like a DBZ clone.
Man,
She,
she's
her Hulk
fucked up,
cousin.
man. She, her Hulk,
Yeah,
yeah, they, them Hulk. Even she was saying now, like, the first episode that came out for She-Hulk, the character is objectively a derivative of Hulk. She gets Hulk's blood, so she becomes Hulk. So she is derived from Hulk. And then she complains, I can't believe everyone's calling me She-Hulk like I'm a derivative of the Hulk. This is like feminist dialogue being interjected into this
yep.
character's mouth. You're like, nah, you would
That's
not
not
have
She-Hulk.
put the exactly. That's like even back then in the comics, she wouldn't have said to that extent,
No.
right? But it's like it's become so aimless. MCU. You got Harry Styles, the British pop star from One Direction, is now Thanos' brother. You got fucking, like I was tweeting, you got Scar, the fucking son of Hulk, the bastard son of Hulk. I'm like, why should we even fucking care? You just dropping these motherfuckers. Sorry, I shouldn't swear. Like dropping these
Yeah.
moves, freaking into this, and you're expecting people. Oh, here you go, here you go, here you go, here you go. I'm like, dude, we don't even care. Why should we even care about this character? And
Yeah.
you're sacrificing your own films for this crap.
Yep. It's like shameful. It's like dysfunctional. Like they don't like. It's like injecting their own personal beliefs and viewpoints on an legacy IP character of the hundreds and thousands. You chose She-Hulk, which actually had fans because she in the comics she was different than Hulk. Yes, she has her fan service moments, but she at least she's a badass in the comic books at times. And she was Deadpool before even Deadpool was popular.
Yup.
And she was like Ace Attorney of Marvel in the comics.
You know who Marvel is speaking to now, man. They've
Yeah.
only got one. They've only got one type of audience, and they know who is exactly who they're
We
speaking
all
to.
know.
The pink people with pink hair, fucking,
Yeah, we
wearing
know we're talking
Converses
about.
and fucking ripped jeans and shit.
Yeah, the teenagers that stuck with Uncle
Fucking
Rico
skateboarders.
syndrome.
Yeah.
I call those Uncle Rico syndrome, and that applied. What Uncle Rico is a character in Napoleon Dynamite. It's a pretty funny film, and his character is like a guy in his 30s or so, stuck in his glory days in high school playing football, and something bad happened to him, and he was still stuck in his high school days. He didn't develop and grow mentally and emotionally afterwards. He still acts like a stereotypical jock in high school because the height was in high school. Yes, I don't mind high school stories when they're done right, but remember this. It reminded me of these animes. They're having right now is an Uncle Rico syndrome. Because basically, for a Japanese dude, I heard from like rumors and interviews and whatnot that high school's like the peak of their lives because they had the most freedom and whatnot, yada yada, so and so on. But they don't actually develop any new experiences at all, or learn and develop. Like I say, develop by getting new skills, going outside their comfort zone, and due to not going outside their comfort zone and box, their greatest high was remembering high school, wearing those school uniforms, having like high school brawls like River City or Kunio-kun, sports like Captain Tsubasa and whatnot, and having these high school gangs and over the topness and whatnot. Uncle Rico syndrome.
Yeah. We had high school comedies back in the 90s, but we don't get
80s.
that many of them now. But Japan is all about the high school. You're right about that.
Yeah.
This high school saying.
Yeah.
It's like obsessed with high school. Even when they're not doing high schools, they try to create a classroom sort of fucking setting
Yeah.
where it's like My Hero Academy is kind of like a fucking high school of fucking
Yeah.
superheroes. You got
Fantasy
it's
worlds having like a cat British like academies like Hogwarts.
there was that gambling anime that came out, right? There's some
Yeah.
that which was
Katakuri
like
or
high
some.
school.
Yeah,
Yeah,
didn't like it.
Katakuri.
Didn't like it
Fucking
because
bullshit
so
anime.
yeah, exactly. Same reasons why I didn't. I prefer Yu-Gi-Oh anyways. Or Kaiji, Akagi, Kaiji. Those are better gambling animes. Remember those two? How unique they are from like the art style to like the writing. How the characters like get out from impossible odds. Yes,
Amazing,
Kaiji's,
amazing anime.
but how they're written is like a battle manga for the mind. How smart they are, how they outsmart enemies from like yakuza to like shady businessmen. Like I like those type of stories here. But with the West and Japan, the West does it too, Makenshi. With Disney shows and modern cartoons, they have this mentality of the prom and the
Oh
school
yeah,
popular BS and whatnot. I want to be normal. That also counts as Uncle Rico syndrome because they're stuck in that
definitely.
high school mentality. If you're still focused on like the prom or the school festival or the sports festival or the local high school football game, you have Uncle Rico syndrome.
Yeah, dude, is Gundam Witch from Mercury actually good? Because from
It's
all the
it's I had
clips
to
I've seen,
wait for like more episodes. It looks gorgeous though. But the one thing I don't like, I'm getting tired of, is the high school setting. Yes, they're trying to aim for like the new kids and whatnot, but I want to like wait till like it builds up like that game called Fire Emblem Three Houses,
yeah,
which it starts out in a high school setting and you're their teacher. Then over time, stuff in the background builds up. It has a time skip. Then it becomes a normal Fire Emblem game. You choose a side for complete supremacy of the continent you're in. Yes, it has a nice build up there in the second half.
yeah,
I know it's not your thing because the high school setting bored me at first too. Like it's like it's like Uncle Rico syndrome. Stop that crap. I want
yeah,
cyberpunk edge runners. I know you have a thing with Trigger anime being edgy and whatnot, but at least it's starting to bring back the cyberpunk in
yeah. I
and
want to
whatnot.
watch. I want to watch Edge Runners. I know. I want to watch that.
Yeah, like remember Battle Angel Lita, a great one of my favorite manga series. I got the live action movie and the first manga series and the first 3 volumes of Lost Order, its sequel. Why I love that because the world and its characters. How Alita was like born from Mars and she was trained, had a troubled childhood. She was raised as a child soldier, then became a killer. Was taught by one of her first mentors, who was a badass martial artist. Then was set up a whole yeah, and then after the whole events, after they were thought she was killed, she was left for dead in a junkyard in Earth. Professor Dr. Idol found her. The original series begins. She begins as this really idealistic. Oh, ouch, ouch. All right. Okay. I'm sorry about talking too much. And then over time, she started out from this idealistic shoujo like heroine that's also pretty badass. That becomes really hardened, lost people she loves, the events over time during the series. Then her first body got destroyed. Then Lost Order came out. She's like more harder, a bit more sarcastic. But she wasn't the same at the beginning of the series, which actually had character development and stakes at the time. And each arc had a purpose. And the side characters are amazing. How they influence the character, how they help her, how they betray her. It's what I'm getting to, which most shonen don't like doing,
Yeah,
developing the side characters because they're just as important to the plot than just using them for like a trope to help
exactly. Or in service
support
to
like
the
a
main.
pillar.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, like in my view on Gundam in general is of all. I haven't seen everything, But of all the Gundam I've seen, I would only consider one or two shows, max three of the shows I've seen, just really amazing, amazing shows. I feel like a lot of the other ones sometimes just rehash the same
Yup.
formula. Like when I really like Stardust Memory, right? But
Yeah.
that felt like a rehash of the UC
Yeah.
Gundam, the original,
Yes.
right? And
I don't
Origin
have
I
a
love.
problem. Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't mind you loving Stardust Memory because that was amazing. It's your opinion though.
yeah.
But like, I'll let you continue now.
Like War and Pocket and Origin, I would say, including Stars, are the three major ones that I really loved. Everything else was neither here nor there, man. To be honest.
Yeah. This is like many people having like a barrier of Gundam because basically there's too many entries. If you saw an entry, you probably saw mostly all of them. Because besides G Gundam and
War
G
and Pocket,
Witch,
yeah,
and War in the Pocket was an amazing startup for the series because
still my favorite.
it deconstructs the Gundam fan base in a natural way that tells you war is bad, and it has a purpose of having a little kid loving soldiers in mobile suits, and when the war reaches to your doorstep, that's not the same as watching it on TV. You see your new friend or older brother figure get killed, your sister got injured, people's lives were dead or killed off. It had like stakes and it had like consequences.
Yeah,
And it's one of the few things that actually basically deconstructed the Gundam fan base as a whole. Like, as Gundam fans, we don't care about the people inside of the Gundam shows at all. We care about the mobile suits and people's shooting, mobile suits just shooting each other and whatnot, which is counterproductive what Gundam Messages is. Like, War in the Pocket was one of the few series in Gundam that reaches that point right.
yeah. It creates the message is great. It's like a bipartisan Gundam. You know,
Yeah.
there's some of the shows lean more towards, like a Federation side, and then some lean more towards like the
Xeon.
Xeon side, like Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt. You kind
Yeah.
of empathize a lot more for that side.
Xeon side. Because
Yeah,
one thing I love about Universal Century is that there are no good guys or bad guys. It's gray.
yeah,
Yes, there's some cartoony bad guys and whatnot, but no side is good or evil. Like Gangs of London, everyone's evil in that show because organized crime. But you get to know the characters. They have like a chill side to them. They're nice. They're really loyal to their friends that don't backstab them or betray them. They're like a fam, basically. They have allegiances. They have like enemies. They have like a natural relationship. Even the undercover cop, which is one of my favorite characters of the whole show, because his family got killed by like some gangs, so he volunteered to becoming an undercover cop to infiltrate them, and he wasn't accepted at all. You know how the badass movies and whatnot in both Western and also Japanese anime, how the undercover cop apparently gains all the trust of the gang.
yeah,
Big mistake. They don't trust him at all. The boss points a gun up in his head. People don't trust him still. He has to gain their trust the hard way. Like in real life. You don't trust some random nobody that did some heroics for your one dude. Because in a gang, you have an organized gang, you have a role. And you stay in your role till you get promoted by someone who likes you. And Vinland Saga, I have the first three volumes of Vinland.
amazing show.
I like the manga. I love the artwork. I love the setting of Vikings and whatnot too, and how the characters develop over time, and how
Yeah,
they're affected by the actions. I read the manga, not watched the anime though, because it was first a shonen, but then they moved to a seinen magazine in Japan, and then began becoming the artwork improved, the storyline improved. That's when Vinland improved. It was good before, but it improved when it moved to a demographic.
yeah. Well, why would you package such a violent age like the Viking Age with split loyalties, betrayals, backstabs, and market it to kids like wash it down? So I like the fact that Vinland is about selfish people trying to survive. They'll make uneasy alliances for survival's sake, but as when that shit's done, they'll cut and run. They'll fuck you over. You know, I love it. Such an
Yeah,
amazing show.
exactly.
It's
Like
uncomfortable to watch it. Honestly, there were weeks where I was uncomfortable watching it. I was like, do I like this guy? Do I hate this guy? That's
that's what I
stimulating.
feel
That's
about like
challenging.
Gangs of London. Why
Yeah,
I'm like struggling
exactly.
to watch it
Exactly.
when it starts to improve at episode 5, because basically, should I root for this guy still? Should I trust this guy? Is my favorite character going to get killed off in a brutal way?
Yeah.
Because, like you said with Vinland Saga, because I was invested in the world and it was outside of my comfort zone. I'm not used to these type of works.
Yeah.
I just thought Gangs of London, it was actually what I wished for entertainment. I wanted to see an entertainment as a whole.
See, it shows you it's not hard to write good. They just don't write good. I don't understand. It's lazy. It's like
Yeah,
lazy writing is what it is.
yeah,
It's not hard to write something good nowadays. You got
yeah,
so much influence and blueprints to make something good. Even a
yeah,
9 episode series, but you got 7 fucking writers in a writer's room. You know, nowadays, all
yeah,
trying to get their ideas in, and all trying to follow this thread that the producers have said, no, you got to follow this thread, but
yeah.
you can only add bits here and there. It's fucking
Yup,
macamate, man.
everyone does that, including Japan too. With manga, especially with the editor, you must change his character design to order fit this appeal of our demographic, or we can't have that in the dialogue,
Yeah.
or you can have this story structure inside the story because it scares away our viewers and readers equals money. And what Baker says is because peeps don't care about writing, they decide instant resolution in return, which is like the editors, the producers exploit, like it or not, which is kind of sad. Which is like why people like producers love reboots and remakes, because it's instant resolution and a quick return. Lack of risk for the audience. Having like a dark story with morally great characters. Some people don't like morally great. To them, they like the Saturday morning cartoon stuff. I don't mind that. I like that too. But with Gangs of London, they do it differently because people screw each other all the time. They abuse you. They manipulate you like people in real life. It
Yeah.
it depends on people how you can trust them. Like remember when I see like when I first met you, Mackenzie, I loved your like reviews and like your live reactions because you're like
Yeah.
real. You're not like the person that's like, oh my god, or oh my god, that's so freaking cool. Like every freaking reaction and whatnot. It feels
Instant gratification.
fake.
Yeah, everyone wants that.
Look, I like my trailers, like the good trailer, like you and I, but I don't go like, oh my freaking god, this is bad. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh my god, which I
Yeah,
hate that
exactly.
freaking crap, man. I don't like
Yeah,
the influencer
I hate the
culture
fish
at
face.
all.
Yeah, the fish face. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like something is made or broken by its hype or dramatic moments. Like
yeah,
when you think about it, 70% of a show, a 9 episode show, a 24 episode, 100 show, should be made up of the bits in between, right?
yeah,
Think about it. Look back on all your favorite shit. You can maybe count for 4 or 5 big hype dramatic moments, but then you
yeah,
think to yourself, what is the stuff in between? Why have I suddenly forgot? This is why seasonal animes are so forgettable. It's
yeah.
because you have a 12 episode show with 3 hype moments. Those 3 hype moments get memed and thing, and then everyone forgets everything that happens in between. It's like Bleach. All the people fucking watching Bleach now, they don't remember the bits in between. They
Chainsaw
don't
Man
remember the
too.
Chainsaw Man, like they'll remember the hype moments. Oh, fucking Aizen fucked everyone up. Oh shit, come up and fucking Aizen fucking killed those there. They'll remember the hype moments. But you think to yourself, shit, if that is all that's holding this show up, those 4 or 5 moments, then what was your show to begin with? Full of fluff and padding and filler.
Yeah.
With Gangs of London, like you say, every episode is like a movie. Everything feels like its own thing. You got Elliot betrayal, you got the gang shit, then you got this episode with Lale and fucking Asif, their beef. Then you got the familial stuff going on. You remember everything. Everything is in service to it. These fucking shonen, they go on for like a gazillion episodes.
MCU too.
Yeah, MCU too. They forget where they started, man. Honestly.
Yes, because what Baker said about like House of Dragons, I'm not a Game of Thrones fan because I thought of it too edgy, but that's just me. But what he says is peeps were complaining the first House of Dragons ep that they didn't feel connected or invested. They wanted that instant reason to connect to these characters. The whole point of a story is to find that. Exactly. You have to earn the trust, which I like Gangs of London because they don't treat you like a freaking idiot. It's not like first like Game of Thrones, like blood and gore and adult content, like a porn movie. No.
Yeah.
Gangs of London, you have to earn that. And the edge meant something. It is not your kiddie shonen edge crap. It actually has consequences and it feels impact. The characters feel like, even those two morons who bumped off a beloved gang boss for easy money.
Yeah.
Which the one
You're
of the
gonna
characters
see,
like,
yeah. I don't want to spoil it, but in episode,
I don't.
yeah,
I don't spoil it.
In episode, I won't spoil it, but in episode 5, even you'll see like even that has ramifications and stuff.
Yeah.
I love it.
And it comes back to them. They're not forgotten or dealt with off screen. No, it doesn't end from there. Because all that actions, I don't want to spoil it. Because like with Vinland Saga with Makenshi here, I'm struggling to watch because should I vote for this guy? Or this guy's going to betray him? Or my favorite character's going to die or get screwed over badly? Yes, that's real life. Real life sucks like that too, but it's like, that's how like what the feeling of a dark story and with morality as a whole.
Yeah.
Because not all people can handling that, because like it challenges the viewer as a whole. The awesome gunfights and martial arts are an extra. The great writing and whatnot, and the acting is superb.
Yeah.
Better than most of these Hollywood movies. The characters, like even the one stupid people, not stupid people, dupes from episode 1. I just call them the dupes. No disrespect to those actors. They were like amazing actors. Like you feel their pain. You feel their struggles. You feel like something for them. Like every character, even the whole like Albion gang leader, you feel something likable in him. Or the Iranian,
Albanian. Yeah.
Or the Iranian lady, which I thought I didn't like at first, but she became one of my favorite characters because of the backstory they gave her. It wasn't forced or like, oh, I have this bad past and whatnot. No, they showed and tell. Not kept it from you and sprinkle it like Kingdom Hearts Post 2. They actually showed and told.
There are people, mentally ill people who think Kingdom Hearts writing is fucking God's gift to fucking writing.
Let me tell you
it's
something.
So stupid, man.
Let me tell you something. As a Kingdom Hearts player, most of the games leave me angry and frustrated. I haven't had any satisfaction since Kingdom Hearts 2 back in 2006. That includes like Final Mix as well. Birth by Sleep was okay with its characters, but Kingdom Hearts 2 was the peak of the series in my opinion, still to this day.
Yeah.
The battle systems and the graphics improved, but the writing, my freaking god, it is so convoluted.
Yeah. And what I realized, whether it's shonen fans or anime fans or Kingdom Hearts fans, they only care that a story keeps going. They don't care with the quality because they know that if that story ends, they're gonna commit suicide. It's straight up.
Yeah.
If this story ends, I'm gonna kill myself. So they do. I don't care as long as it keeps going. No matter how shit or thing it is, it's all gonna hopefully lead up to something. Then it leads up to something, and then you find out that is not a conclusion. That's actually more build up for fucking. It's like One Piece.
Yeah, One
They
Piece
hype you
keeps
up.
going and going and going. Nice, good fights here and there. Very slow middle too, but my freaking god, it's pathetic. How slow Joe Lion, JoJo Part 8, slow as cheese, man, like a turtle. Like,
JoJo as well, fucking losing its way, man. Part 6.
Part 6 and 7, oh boy. At least 7 ended in a finale that felt satisfactory, despite being really bittersweet. But Joe
Yeah, don't spoil, don't
Lion,
spoil.
my god, it was so slow that it's forgettable and weird.
I hear no one talking about Part 8.
Nope.
Everyone keeps banging on about Part 7. That's it. When it gets adapted, it's gonna be amazing. No one talks about Part 8 of JoJo.
Yeah. Because it's so freaking slow, that's why. I don't have no love for 8. But at least
No
with
one's
7,
that good. Here's what I think. There's no creator that's good. Nomura can create maybe one good thing, but
or 2 or
nobody's so
6.
yeah. But no one's that good that they can just keep something going forever, man.
Nope.
They can't.
Exactly. Every creator has their lows and highs. Even your classic Mozarts or your Beethovens or your... What's a famous Islamic writer? I don't know any
What's
Islamic writer.
I don't know, no actual writers, scholars maybe, but not writers.
Scholars, yes. Even they make mistakes with weak hadith. With us Muslims, we have like strong hadith, weak hadith. The strong hadith
Yeah,
is like basically enforce what the Prophet Sallallahu did.
exactly. Yeah,
So
the
while we're
weak
talking,
ones, yeah, you
it's
can't
like fluff.
corroborate them. Yeah,
Like it's gray area. Stay away from the weak hadiths. And why we're going to that is basically how the quality, how a person goes, makes mistakes and whatnot. It's like it's fluff. It's forgettable.
exactly.
But yeah,
Even the Vinland Saga creator, he just lost his way.
yeah,
Like people were telling me about how fucking Great Farmland arc is coming up in the season 2, but after that it just goes to shit. It
yeah.
becomes like a romance comedy anime or some shit.
Yeah, because he wanted to like the character development. The guy found peace and wanted to build a family and yada yada whatever. I respect at least that changing a demographics or genre, but because of story reasons. But out of the blue, that's when I have a problem with. Like people lost their way at times. They want to try something new or experiment, caused a door cage. As a result, people fell off. Then people came back because he found his mojo again by like maybe he thought like, my god, this isn't as good as I thought it will be. Then goes back and undoes all what he did, which I hate this trope, despite being like causing stakes and whatnot and our character developing. It makes all his efforts seem for nothing. Then it's to start up a new journey again. And people don't know how the hero's journey works with Luke Skywalker. From a farm boy to like a legendary Jedi Knight and Master. Don't like what they did to them in the sequels. Because they have a hate boner for him. But with the actual sequel trilogy with General Thrawn and Ben and Anakin Solo, Luke was still a really cool character that still developed over time and experienced loss over his lifetime. Yeah, with TDW here, is that like the Tower of Dragons or whatever?
No, sorry, The
Then
Walking Dead. The
The
Walking
Walking
Dead.
Dead. When they reach Alexandria, they ran out of stuff to do. They have Carl leave and come back every 5 episodes. They all sat and rubbing his bike with a cloth. Rick Grimes walking up and down the same street.
Yes, that's so
Why?
true.
God.
These characters, a point came where these characters ran out of things to do, so all they do is mope around depressed. Everyone walks around with like a face like a slapped ass,
Yeah.
walking around like they're depressed and ruminating on the nature of existence and how fucking
Yeah.
shitty people are. I'm like, dude, just fucking get laid or something, have a kid, fucking
Have a
plant
hobby.
have a hobby, plant a garden. Man, they just kept spinning their fucking wheels, man.
Yeah, but look at like basically with like if end the series right then and there, and then have a sequel a generation later, and have their children continue where they left off. Because this is why I have a problem with popular characters, because creators are afraid of killing them off or having them badly injured or changed due to experience. I don't like this popularity type of stuff at all because it feels fake. It doesn't feel fair for the rest of the cast and crew at all. It doesn't create like urgency. It's like the same character gets a red carpet every time, despite the tone of the show. Gets the girl, gets the dude, gets the man, gets the lady, gets all the money, gets all the easy way, gets a very powerful mobile suit that has funnels that blow up mobile suits in one freaking hit with its beams. Yes, I'm referencing a Gundam show called Gundam Seed
Seed.
with a very
I heard
popular
about that.
character. Yeah, yeah, you can probably get the joke once, but yes, that was a Jesus Yamato type of meme joke. But the whole like, but with Holy Land, back to that manga, the main character Yukami Shiro, the series ends from him from like being a lonely, shy kid from being bullied to like a legend on the streets because over time he develops. He suffered a lot. He had highs and lows. He thought he had his friend killed because of his actions, and so on and so forth. It's giving you like shonen manga vibes, but to me, it's like a shonen protagonist ends up in a seinen manga.
Yeah. That's what I loved about Ashita no Joe. He was a delinquent who had no discipline, no manners. He, even the people who were trying to help him, he was constantly at odds, breaking the law, and eventually he becomes responsible. He becomes disciplined. He learns
Yeah,
to other people suffering, not just his own mopey suffering. He learns to
yeah,
see other people that he has rivalries with, and they go through from their own shit, and then he becomes this legendary boxer that everyone
yeah.
loves. It's like Ashita no Joe. You don't get those kind of
Asta no
shows anymore.
Joe, and also its spiritual successor Megalobox. I thought you liked Megalobox, despite its problems.
Second season I liked. The first one not so much.
Yeah.
Second season was really good. Yeah.
Because basically the character, I thought the second season they'll deconstruct this character to the point he can box anymore.
Yeah, he becomes more like
But he was
like
finding his way of life.
yeah, yeah, he was like a very broken character with pill addiction and alcohol addiction, and it took it took him a while to even get back into the game, sort of. But the people he left behind, his loved ones, they felt abandoned by him, so everything turned to shit
Yeah.
around him. Like it was a great second season. You don't usually see that kind of second season.
Yeah, that's what I said about it because it's a good second season, but it didn't land the landings like Holy Land did, in my opinion. Because basically it requires timing to like land the joke, like a Looney Tune.
Yeah.
I didn't learn this till like later on, but the impact and the like with Gangs of London, it adds like impact. It has like consequences, not
Yeah,
just for
everything
physical
has.
wise, but also emotionally and mental as well. Everyone had their loved ones taken from them, suffered like when they lose gang members. it doesn't feel that much in an ordinary show, but when in Gangs of London, when they lose people, it meant a lot because these minions actually were family, actually had a name, had a family. You get what I'm saying here?
Yeah.
And
But
they
there were
take
people
some of
who
these
would
guys.
care for them.
Yes. What you about to say?
There were people out there that were gonna miss them. You know, usually in any gang show, two fucking idiots who bungle up an assassination or fuck up, or they're like minions. They're just peons or minions. They die off screen or get bumped off, and there's no consequence. But at least in Gangs of London, there are families, mums, dads, uncles that actually love them.
Love them
What's that sound?
exactly. A siren. My bad.
Okay. That
Sorry
sounds
about
like
that.
a 70s siren.
Yup.
Like it's
It's
from
a
the
fire
70s
alarm.
fucking gang shows.
Woo, 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 woo. Someone's dying or someone's house getting burnt down. It's just it's pretty busy where I live. Sorry about that. But with Gangs of London, it's like you see all their relatives. Many of them want revenge. So what they did in episode 3, they marched up to those guys' village, full of RVs, and people just chilling, minding their own business throughout the night. Came out of the blue, this wrecked the whole place.
Yeah.
You don't see that in any gang show at all. You don't see the consequences of their actions. One of the dudes gets killed. And the other dude don't know what happened to him. The father gets killed, I heard. But my God, it's like the best
honestly,
TV.
Once you finish it, you're in for a treat. Even the next few episodes, not just 5, you're in for a treat, man.
Yup, I need to get back to that mentality.
The finale, you're a treat.
Yeah, I need to get back to that mentality because, like you said, we struggle with Vinland because it's gray morality. But with me, that's Gangs of London. And speaking
Honestly,
of
it's on there up there with Game of Thrones and Vinland. It feels like that. It feels dirty to watch it, but you're like, shit, you hooked.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh my God, like freaking hook, like this, this is the best TV in 5 years.
Yeah.
And I'm getting my money's worth of it. I love almost every character, despite some of them like being really evil. Yes, everyone's freaking evil, but at least they're third-dimensional characters.
Yeah.
Which you probably, when they die, one of them dies, you feel kind of sad at the end because they grew on you.
Exactly. Yep.
And the whole diversity thing felt natural. It didn't have we have this old black cop here, he's a badass, or this Iranian lady, or this Pakistani gang, or this Albanian gang, or we have a gay brother. Spoiler alert.
This is why America has such a problem with this idea of casting racially. You guys just haven't got down with multiculturalism like you should have. In UK, multiculturalism is like the normal. It's just completely normal for us. Like to see different colors walking around each other. We don't have this problem when they cast a black hobbit or they cast a black Valerian and good things. But you guys have this problem. As soon as you see brown on Velma, or as soon as you see brown on Little
Chinese,
Mermaid, or black on Little, you're like, fuck, what the fuck have they done? But we're not like that here in the UK.
Yeah, like in the UK, I heard people like in London, is it 40% in London of diverse people in it? And even the white folks chill with the black folks at times. Remember that Gangs of London movie? You got a multicultural group of kids from the black kid to the Arab kid, the Indian kid, Desi kid. You got the black immigrant kid. And they go around doing adventures and whatnot. I have a sucker for those type of stories. Exactly. They're in the urban environment. They do all sorts of mischief and it comes back to them.
Yep.
From small things to getting captured by the police for going after curfew and they should be at home sleeping, to in Gangs of London, those two white kids getting in trouble, they trouble that one of them dies and the other and all sorts of stuff happen. Even in Gangs of London, you see like a whole gangs of kids at the beginning. You see this one black kid. You see a white kid. You probably see some Iranian kid.
Yeah, lots.
Yeah, it's like felt all natural and everything. Like unlike American shows, like it's like basically, oh my god, there's a black dude, there's this white guy playing, being all macho, there's this gay
Yeah,
guy.
the only time they cast people in American shows is stereotypes. So like like in a comedy, they'll cast the brown dude as a IT technician or a fucking, yeah, like the IT guy or the
The
tech
nerd
guy
guy.
or whatever, nerd guy. You know that even in Nolan films, they've only ever cast brown people as the fucking tech guys. Uh,
Yeah.
so it's like just it's you guys haven't done multiculturalism like properly
We
yet.
still
You're not
have
used to.
a long way to go. Let me
Like
tell you that.
you guys pat yourselves on the back when you give Asians their own TV show. Like
Yep.
this is how fucked up it is in America. You're like, Crazy Rich Asians, man. Crazy Rich Asians. We're like, dude, Asians been chilling with brown mans, Iranians, Pakistanis, blacks
And
in UK TV soap operas for fucking ages.
UK.
Fam. What are you
Yeah,
on about?
exactly. Like, but unlike America, we're still divided because we don't have anything in common. Don't know what you say about in the UK because probably, in my opinion, they actually found a common goal and a common interest. You feel me there? When
Yeah,
people have a common goal or an interest, I call it the nakama effect or the family effect. When they find something in common, you begin to have a family, or sort of, or
yeah,
despite your differences by religion, sexual orientation, or even skin color, and come together and form like an actual multicultural group that feels natural due
yeah.
to environment, due to like certain backgrounds that you have something to click with, and you want to feel like in their holy land. Like I call it the holy land effect. Like basically a place where to belong, a family, and whatnot. I should do like patent all these like effects or tropes and whatnot because I made one up in an anime group called like the Phantom Audience, and that's what the MCU is targeting right now.
Phantom audience. Yep.
But let me just say with the whole, yeah, exactly, the Phantom on. I like make that's when I'm serious when I make people laugh. For some reason, that's all. But with the Phantom with unlike the Phantom Audience or like that, let me just say with the Holy Land effect, or the Nakama or Holy Land effect, people come together, or one person finds an environment where they feel like they belong in. They feel respected. They feel loved. They feel honored. They feel appreciated being in there. Every culture has this. Even the animals have it too.
Yep. Yep.
They want to feel somewhere to belong in, like a family. Even an orphan needs someone to support him and or her,
Exactly.
which is why I love Holy Land so much, and how he develops over time, how he learns from different people and whatnot. You should check that out, people in the chat. But unfortunately, it's not out in English, but you have to find it online via fan translation. If you don't mind doing that. Like, I really like how the creator of Holy Land, Mori Kochi, was able to do that while adding psychological effects to the characters and stakes on the line, which I thought was pretty dope at the time for a manga. Yes, there's sign-in right there, but for a martial arts series, how I discovered it, I was looking up online, like on Google, let me share my screen for a minute for an example here. Let me just go StreamYard, share screen. Yeah. So look at here. So for example, this example here. And I looked like there's some like one of these sites here long ago, like almost 6 to 7 years ago, but I clicked on one of these and whatnot, and one of them pointed out with people keep saying Holy Land. So I said, I copied the title, put it on like on Google or so, led me to like a manga Spanish scanlation site, and then I was hooked for hours. Hours flew
Yeah.
by like it was nothing. It's like one of the best experiences ever, and I had to stop because I was too tired.
It's rare to find something that you just get engrossed in and hooked in. It's very rare. It's good
Yeah,
you found that for yourself.
yeah. It actually influenced me how the characters act and how they write. They don't feel they have tropey characters, but they have like they sometimes go out of their element and have their own types of crap. Like I said before, they have problems. They have their ups and downs too. They have their weaknesses, and they're trying to get along, trying to get by in the cold world. Like it's really rare to find that feeling, even if it's like an anime, a book, a movie. Right now it's Gangs of London, but back then it was Holy Land.
It sounds like it's realistic in the sense that it's like a depressed person taking up Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
Yeah,
They get something out of it. They find a place to belong and have an outlet. But you're still this life still continues. There's still depressing shit to deal
yeah,
with in life and stuff. So I guess
yeah,
in that sense, it deals with the side, like you say, psychological side of stuff.
yeah.
It's not just because you're a great fighter now that your mental health is better.
No. He starts out with this one jab, and my God, he kind of like stunk. He was stunk for a while. He only had like that 1-2 punch at the beginning. Then he began to improve his skill set with the people he meets and the problems he faces. Don't know why that didn't get an anime yet. Probably because it's not anime friendly adaptation material. Because
Yeah.
basically they're like Kaichi and Akagi were lucky. There are tons of great manga that aren't anime because it's not anime friendly at all. There's too many. I forgot even some of their names. That's how. Yeah, he's probably reading the chat or something.
Yeah, I'm reading the chat like it's down here. So
Yeah, yeah. And while America has some great stories, but right now they're focusing on the surface. They're still on that stereotypical face because they have not actually treat other people outside their bubble as equals. They're just like you and me, trying to eat, trying to survive the expensive gas prices and food prices around the world.
yeah,
And yet people still want to say it's the black guy, it's the Daisy guy, it's the gay guy, it's the tomboy, it's the emo guy. Yes, we get it. Anime is just as guilty as that too. Not just Western TV shows.
yeah. Anime, but they both got their problem. This is what happens when commercial content becomes homogenized. You're
Yup.
basically playing to one homogenous audience who laps this shit up, whether it be
Yup.
Western or thing. So anime made for Western people and Western stuff made for Western people. You
Yeah.
know, we're not making stuff for Japanese people. It's always stuff coming over here or stuff made here for people here. You know,
Yeah.
so we're just inundated with this same homogenous sort of fucking
Stuff.
bullshit.
And not just that. Americans struggle to watch any foreign media at all. Like Gangs of London is British. Unless it's Doctor Who or Monty Python, we don't give a crap. And that's in English.
Yep.
Or The Raid, or Ip Man, which is Chinese or Indonesian. We don't watch foreign films. Because it's outside of our element. That's when I first discovered anime. It was outside of my element. It was cool. The characters look cool. There's action. Now it feels like tropey and whatnot because I was used to it. With Gangs of London, I was like, my God, the writing's so great. I love the setting. It's a culture thing. It's like out of your element. And you
Yeah.
keep telling me many billions of times that Omega, you should try getting out of that soap out of that bubble. And I finally took the plunge,
Mm.
and it satisfied me, and I want to like enjoy Gangs of London as much as possible, despite how
Yeah.
dark it can get. Yeah,
It's the reason I was mentioning it to you so much because it does feel hyper realized, the kind of stuff
yeah,
that you might like watching, like in martial arts films. Like the choreography is amazing, so
yeah,
that side of it you really love. But it feels like a graphic novel, slightly
yeah,
hyper realized. Like obviously in the UK right now, you're not gonna see these gangs like this have going to war in literally London because everyone get locked up. So it has
yeah.
that sort of heightened graphic novel
Underground,
quality.
yeah, high end graphic. They have to plan their attacks too. You're not going to see the make a scene so the police or the feds bust them. And many times they were lucky because that undercover cop, out of his control, tried to be a hero or screwed up like anyone else did.
Yeah.
But I just have a feeling they're going to build up to like something huge, like a huge freaking war. Because it reminds me of early Batman when Bruce Wayne was feeling like just got into bat suit. You got all these criminal gangs and whatnot, but there's no Batman or a Robin.
Yeah.
It just focuses on the gangs and the undercover cop. There's no villains. Yes, there's villains, the gang leaders, and even they felt like characters you root for, or if they vibe to you, you give them tea, or their men they'll give you tea or some favors, or because you relate to them. I know, though.
Batman of London.
Yeah, I know. Man, that'd be a good show, but I know the actors are just actors and whatnot. They're probably pretty nice in real life, but they did such an amazing job. It felt believable that they're really cold and ruthless if you get on their wrong side.
Yeah.
Like everyone did an amazing job with their acting and how they were using the script and how the choreography of martial arts is and everything. And speaking of martial arts choreography, you remember the movie The Raid?
The Raid, yeah.
The
Same
same
guy.
guy that directed those fight scenes also directed Gangs of London as well. That's why they were so great.
Gareth
It's
Evans' greatness.
Yeah, exactly. Gareth Evans is a great director because it shows the world as morally gray. Yes, there's some like great people in a world full of darkness and cold, but at the same time, it's like that Holy Land effect. Gangs trying to support their own interest in their own family. Like you're in London, right? You people in different cultures like have neighborhoods. I'm sorry about getting this wrong, but can I continue here? And how they figured out is like they're like a family. And remember that one scene about the Pakistani, like the guy's Asif's son trying to rally
Asif's
up
son.
the Pakistan. Like even he was likable, and he was like a third wheel in the whole Asif's side of the story,
Yeah.
which was revealed naturally. Like he was like this random dude that you see from the first glance, he's like the head honcho. You don't want to mess with him.
Yeah.
Despite being like, instead of being like stereotypical gangster, he has jokes here and there too, and he acts like sometimes like a Daisy as well. No disrespect.
Yeah. Like his dad did the criminal shit so that he could give his son a good life. So his son feels like he owes it to his dad
Yeah.
to do these favors and stuff. But then obviously because he's a good kid, he's come into odds with his dad. So I love that
Yeah.
story. It
Yeah.
sounds like the first gen versus the next gen story almost.
Yes.
That they sacrificed everything to come over here and give us a good life.
Yeah.
But then we're under the thumb of these first gens who are like maybe out in their ways or something.
Yeah. Exactly. Like I like that between his son was likable too. Like he relates to me like one of those Pakistani guys that are upper class and whatnot, moved up to the world, trying to get and you're seeing he wants to be his own thing, like try to move on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying here? And while in that scene there, he was like trying to direct a realistic problem in the Muslim communities around the world. Especially, a lot of them was pointed out at London because of the whole crack pandemic and whatnot.
Exactly. Yep.
and he wanted to like try to stop it, but he has conflicts with odds with his dad being the whole operations and whatnot, so he must keep it
Exactly. Yep.
hush hush, which is kind of plays on the heart and the character, which is called conflict.
Exactly. Drug
And
activities.
yes, and it's actually affecting the community's families, how their sons and daughters are dying and getting messed up because of the whole effect. That kind of relates to me as a Muslim because Muslim communities have this sort of bad problem too with drugs and all these bad stuff in the communities and whatnot. And then there's this guy, the family, the Irish or the white family, or the main gang. After their father died, the son who was in charge had issues. He's still in grief with his dad. He to the point he was ignoring everybody else, and
Yeah.
it has consequences. His brother wants to try to do something, which I have a feeling he's going to do something so stupid it's going to cause another domino effect of problems. And his brother's having like mental issues as well because
Yeah.
he felt abandoned and the second wheel of the family. The father himself was not a good person either, but he was likable. He cares about
Exactly.
his family and his friends. You remember that him and that black guy he befriended, and the story how they met.
Yeah.
It's like that Holy Land effect. Like I explained. They have conflict of interest. People hate them for what they are. One's Irish, despite being white, but one's an immigrant, a black immigrant.
Exactly. Yep.
And they said they had common interest in standing to the point we must stick together so we must survive in this cold war.
Yeah. They said the British Empire closed their doors to us.
Yeah.
So why don't we form our tribe of all
Yeah.
the people that got rejected by the British Empire, who never really fit in, never got the business opportunities. You know, it's all very upper white class, right? So they're like, look,
Yeah.
we're gonna get our piece. You come in with us. It's not about race or anything like identity. It's just about us guys. You know, in the
I love those
colonialism.
stories, man.
Yeah.
The Holy Land effect, like base up. And have anything else to say because you look kind of bored.
No, I need to wrap up. I need to wrap up because I was gonna
Yes.
do like a
Oh
Rings of
my.
Power.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh! It's like it's 9 o'clock where I'm at. It's like almost like an hour and a half. Normally, it's supposed to end by now. I'm really sorry about that because we're getting into this discussion here.
Yeah, we started.
How
We started a
about
little bit late, so yeah.
yeah? So I know it's kind of getting late to your end. So I don't want this to end, but we have to end this anyway because basically it's a really great, great show. We had great talks about writing and how
Yeah,
it affects the
definitely.
characters in the world, which I miss in entertainment.
Look at the way we've been talking about gangs in London. Now look at the typical MCU shit. You can tell the writing is so much better, you know?
Yeah, exactly. MCU is like junk food. Not even good junk food. It's basically like a small little like Trix or American Hershey's bar compared to like a British Grand Chocolate or really good Swedish chocolate.
Yeah.
And it's slow and whatnot, but it's actually has better writing. The characters can act. It feels natural. It doesn't feel freaking forced. Looking at you, MCU and Hollywood. Gangs of London is like it's going to make waves. And that's why it's not that easily seen in America because Hollywood is afraid of foreign media.
It
Not
is.
just with the Koreans. They're right now focusing on anime. They better look out on the British, man, when they come bring the most of their shows here. Yes, there's some stinkers there too, like any other country, but how they write with Gangs of London is what the MCU with Hollywood wish they could have.
Exactly.
It's an original IP with saying this amazing characters, setting, writing. Even the side characters are great.
Yeah. We don't pander. The American shows pander. They want to keep beating you over the head that look, we're
Yeah.
doing this for you, man. We're doing this in Gangs of
Condescending as
London.
crap, man.
Yeah. They never say Gangs of London is trying to do it for the Irish, the Pakistani, the Iranian, the
Nope.
Albanian. They just present it as it is, good and bad, the flaws and the good sides of these cultures. So
Yeah. So, any last words before you go? Like, you can speak your piece before
no,
any last
I
words.
just say, look, thank you, man, like Mega Man, for like doing this. I think writing's good to talk about.
Yeah.
Sorry we couldn't do it on Zoom, but I think this was better because we had audience
Yeah.
participation, right?
Yeah.
But I would just say, look, man, even to your stands who are like mecha fans, mainly in the mecha robot fighting genre, break out of that as well. There's plenty, like your boy Omega just did. He's watching Gangs of London. He's like opened his mind up a little bit to this stuff. So Matt, your mate or
Yeah.
Knight, break out of this comfort zone. Like forget retro for a bit. Forget mecha just for a little bit. Check out
Yeah.
these, you know.
I think I saw a comment right here. I think he left here, but I think I need to look up here. I need to find it first here. So you continue talking while I find this quote here. He just like said here, like, basically.
Watch Drain Addict vids. Learn something. Dude, guys,
There he
I don't
is.
have tech issues when I. Yeah, there he said it. Nice.
I might check out Gangs of London. He said something else before too, like, basically, like, he said something else, but I lost the comment.
Yeah. Because I feel like most of their comments seem to be like their touchstones are always just mecha anime, Gundam and mecha. You know, like I get it. Like you compare with what you know, but
Yeah.
just check out these like these TV shows, these great TV
Yeah.
shows that come in.
Exactly, like what Mad Matt said here before. Appreciate you coming by. And yes, it's like those old school Yakuza films, but updated to a modern audience properly. It doesn't feel forced or pondered to. It felt natural. It felt like an actual new IP.
It felt
Expand your
good to
horizon.
see. Yeah, good to see you represent. Like it felt good without telling you it's representation. Like
Yeah.
when I saw Pakistani Asif and gang members, I was like, look, they're not presenting these guys as saints just because they're Pakistani. They present you in all your flaws and all your wrongdoings and they're all criminals, right?
Yeah.
Inherently bad, but everyone's treated equally. Irish ain't considered better than Pakistani, Albanian, Russian.
Exactly. If everyone felt the same. It's like the best TV I saw in a long time.
Yeah.
And I want to continue watching, but how dark it can get, it's like you need to get into the mindset to get into watching it again because
Yeah,
it's so intense.
it is intense. It is.
Yeah. Like, but we don't have no a Batman like figure being like the centerpiece, like the bridge of everything. That's what I wish for a Batman story to be. Batman is it's like a criminal story, like Gangs of London, with Batman in it. But this time, I hope Batman will be like a character that bridges the various arcs together. And you know what you're feeling here?
Yeah. It's like you say, Batman of London without the Batman. It's more like an undercover cop
Yeah,
aspect of it, you know.
yeah,
And you think it's Batman because it's hyper realized. It's not grounded. There is because the martial arts scenes and how foreign they feel.
yeah,
It feels like a graphic novel, like you're reading a really gritty fucking
yeah,
manga graphic novel.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, yeah. Any last words before you go? Like any sayings? Like
Nah,
he
that's
doesn't
that's
feel
about it, man.
he doesn't feel
Thank you.
doesn't define your favorite anime. Sorry about the language, but we
Yeah.
don't. I don't. As real fans, we don't freaking ride
Actually, yeah. I just
on
want to
your
say one
favorite
thing.
or your media.
I just want to say, look, stop calling anime writing, shonen writing good. That's all I'll say to the audience, because it's not. It's meant to be understood by kids, not just 26-year-olds who like to say that. Oh, it's actually made for adults, and not forget.
No.
Don't stop calling every shonen writing fire and good and peak fiction. I hate that term, peak
Exactly.
fiction.
Peak fiction, like Chibi starting to get out of his comfort zone a bit. Still an anime, but he's starting to slowly get off. Snob is too busy trying to bully him to focus on getting out of people's comfort zones, but he's still with this mentality it's with his character. He has a character, and he must stick by that character. But the
Yep.
problem with that character is he's too prideful to get out of his comfort zone a lot more and
He presents
expand.
this victim, butter would melt in my mouth, the skinny, non-threatening white boy fucking persona, fam. Like
Yeah,
even his accent, I've seen his accent drop sometimes. He loses the accent. He's got a thick Southern accent. Some people never notice it. He speaks one way, but the few times you can see it go into a Southern drawl, right? You know that
yeah,
Southern, deep, thick, sort of y'all Southern accent, right? I've
yeah,
seen it. It's all in fucking act. I'm the nice guy of YouTube. I'm the fucking nice guy. I'm like, you ain't no fucking nice guy. You know what you're doing. You're manipulating your audience.
yeah,
This is why
yeah.
I don't pretend. I don't pretend to be a nice guy.
Okay, okay. I have to cut the code
Let's
right
wrap.
now because I have like one thing is I hope you enjoyed this video. Sorry about being a rush because I have to do some stuff right now. So till then, hope you enjoyed the video. Sayonara.